Here's the survival fishing card all broken down. You can see I have the like 5 spinners with the hooks attached to them. I was using the wire that was the extra ring around the card. I have my saw, scaler, and I have 10 hooks of various size. I really like the fact that they're such a small hook. For survival fishing, that's kind of important to keep things realistic about your intended catch. You can also see the line I'm going to use. That's artificial sinew and also a piece of river cane. So I've got my artificial sinew here. Again, this is what I would be carrying with me realistically. I could also use bank line or inner paracord. This is actually something I've never tested before, so I thought I'd try this out too. So I'm actually going to do this backwards. I'm going to start on the hook end. So I'm going to pick one of the smaller hooks I have. Show you what I'm dealing with here, size-wise. Okay. I'm going to thread the hook using a standard fisherman's knot like I showed in my other videos. Alright, I've got my hook tied onto my artificial sinew. I want the line about as long as the pole is, so that's approximate. I'm going to come up the end and I'm going to put a clove hitch on it. Then I'm going to lock that in a couple times with half hitches. And then I'm also going to take this tail and run it all the way down the line, just as a safety. That way, in case this pole breaks, I'm still holding on to the fish. So I'm going to bring this all the way down and tie it off on the pole. You can get fancy with this, but for what the purpose of this, and as long as this is going to last, this is fine. Quick and dirty is completely okay in this situation. Okay. I'm going to bait this hook. I've got a piece of beef jerky, actually, keeping in theme, I guess, with a unplanned fishing trip. I don't know how well this is going to hold on here. We'll see how this works. This is no float, no weight, just a hook and some artificial sinew, piece of beef jerky. Let's get this wet, see if we can get a fish on the line. So this is about as simple and as easy as it gets. Hook, line, piece of river cane, and a pond. All the other fishing I've tried out here has been passive techniques on video, so this is actually what I'm trying to avoid with all this, is actively fishing while I could be doing something else. But sometimes it's good just to wet a line and see what happens. This is sinking pretty fast, this combo. I'm trying to keep it up out of the weeds. So I'm actually just trying to tie a dead weed on here to see if that works in lieu of a legitimate float. It's actually working pretty well. I mean, there's obviously way better options than this. This is just quickie, you know, getting the job done real fast. tell you right now, if I was using some type of hand reel, I would be able to cast it quite a bit further than this. I'm limited to the length of the pole plus about 2/3 of the line that I'm able to whip out. So the beef jerky's not working out so well for me today. I am actually going to try one of the spoons I put on. You can see I took a piece of the wire and bent it with a multi-tool, and I'm using one of the treble hooks. This is one of the neat things about the card, is the treble hook that actually bends up. Carrying flat hooks is fairly simple, but a treble hook is definitely harder to carry. I'm also interested in how the spoon flashes. I don't know if this was their original intent, but that's how I put it together, and we'll see if it works or not. That's got a very nice action in the water, very, very similar to a commercial spoon. I'm kind of impressed with this. Here's a close-up of the spoon as it's flashing through the water. Back out here on day 3 on the survival fishing card here by ReadyMan. So what this is actually turning into is a passive fishing versus active fishing dilemma for me. Doing all the passive techniques, I have very little time that I'm able to come out here and fish. I've fished maybe 15 minutes one day, half hour the next, and I'm trying to catch it on video. So of course that means the fish aren't biting at that particular time. That is the problem with actively fishing with a line and a pole and a hook, as opposed to setting out a trot line or setting my yo-yos out or any other techniques that I plan on trying out later. There's probably no great feat in catching a fish on a hook that came out of a metal card. You can improvise a gorge hook with just a hardened piece of wood. A bone also works well for that. The top of a pop can, can be cut with my multi-tool and fashion it into a pretty good hook. It's just a matter of principle. Now I am going to catch a fish on this, no matter how long it takes. Lucky you. I'm switching my tactics. I went to a standard hook with a float like I used at the yo-yo video. I'm fishing kind of shallow, maybe a foot. We'll see how they like it. Okay, I had 2 strikes. This is a very small hook. I'm going to try to maybe conceal the worm in there a little bit better. But I haven't got nothing I've had 2 strikes in a row, fishing about maybe 28 inches off the surface. I've lost my bait. I think I got a good combo here. It's just a matter of getting them to take the hook a little bit better. We'll rebait it. I don't know if you can see it on video or not, but I did have a strike, and I did let him carry the hook for quite a bit. I think these hooks are very small for the bass that is probably playing with that right now. I was switching tactics again. I took the spinner with one of the treble hooks on it, and then tied that onto the line with a single hook. So basically I'm going for like a worm harness, a pseudo worm harness I suppose you'd call it. I'm trying to get more hook area for the fish to grab. That's my whole theory. We'll see if this works or not. Got a lot of wind out here today. I think that's maybe hurting my cause. Could be I'm just a bad fisherman. I wouldn't put that past it at all. I'm going to keep working my way around the pond. I'm getting now to the side of the pond that's actually facing the wind, so that's going to be continually blowing the hook back on me. Alright, back at it again with the hooks from the Survival Fishing Card. Still with my cane pole. Switch tactics yet again. I've got a float set about 18 inches and one of the smaller hooks bare right now. I'm going to bait it up and we'll get it wet. We'll see if we can get something out of here. Caught a nice little bass here. Yeah, he's about 10 inches. So now I get to try out the fillet knives finally. So my final thoughts on the survival fishing cards. Obviously they work. It's a simple concept to have a barbed hook that I can knock out. It's nice and flat. You put it in your wallet, you put it in a survival kit, you forget it's there. Steel hooks don't weigh that much more. They're better, they're stronger. They're more versatile. You can pick the sizes that you need for your environment. It's kind of a toss-up right now. It's good in a true emergency kit, but if you've got a bag or a pot that you're basing your kit off of, or a box or whatever, you're going to be better off putting legitimate barbed hooks with monofilament line. This just shows that in an emergency you can make it work, but you can also make it work with a gouge hook or a pop can cut with a multi-tool. You know, there's different ways to catch fish without a card like this. But it doesn't hurt anything, it doesn't weigh much. I suggest you get one, throw it in your kit, but I would not rely on using it without practicing. So I'd go ahead and order two, pack one, use one, see the advantages and the disadvantages with it. I would say specifically for the card itself, I would like to see ReadyMan make a card similar to that has a frog gig be the major component of it, and then fit as many hooks as you can around that. But I would give up a lot of those small hooks just for a gig. I'd also like to see possibly a large, maybe like a gaff style hook where you could actually hook a fish and drag it out of the water. It would be a little more versatile, I believe, than having all small hooks like that. I love the fact that the hooks went so small. The foldable treble hook was a great idea. I'd never seen anything like that before. A lot more of those should be included. I can pack a whole lot of flat hooks. Treble hooks take up a lot more space. They get hooked into other things a lot easier. I don't like to pack a treble hook. So I would like to see more trebles, less standard hooks included. Also, they had a double hook. I didn't see any use for that. I rigged it, I used it, I didn't get a hit on it, so I can't tell you if it worked or not, but for my money, I would rather have a treble hook. The wire rim that the card was attached to, I was able to utilize that to rig the spinners to the hook itself. I thought that worked out okay. If I didn't do that, I would have to run string through there, and then I just have more of a chance of abrading my string. But overall, I'd say the ReadyMan Survival Fishing Card is a good product. It does not cover any of your 5 C's. This is an auxiliary comfort item in my opinion. It's not a cutting tool, even though it's got the little serrated edge saw. That does not cut it in my opinion. It does not have a cutting tool. It doesn't help you get a fire. It is not cordage. It is not a container. It doesn't offer you cover at all. But in a longer term scenario, it gives you a better chance to get food. And it also lets your mind work as you're actively doing something to help yourself, as you're fishing with a cane pole, instead of sitting there worrying about who's going to come and rescue you. You're doing something to help yourself. Thanks for watching. This has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you next time on the water's edge.